Accidents are common in the workplace. This video was created for educational and safety awareness purposes. We'll show recreated or documented scenes as examples, explain how they happened, and how to prevent them in real life, so you can avoid them in workplace. Do not attempt to recreate any of this. Let's start with a funny one. This young worker is trying to secure a metal support bar used to hold up the rolling shutter, but he doesn't position it correctly. The bar slips out of its slot and falls backward. The man sitting behind him doesn't see it coming. The heavy metal rod lands directly on his foot. He lifts the bar again but does the same mistake. Even small handling errors like this can cause serious injuries. That's why every tool or object that supports weight, even something as simple as a shutter bar, must always be locked firmly into place before letting go. This worker is unloading sacks from a moving conveyor. He tries to keep pace with the machine. In that moment, timing slips and he ends up caught between two belts. It's a reminder that workflow design matters. Machines should support the worker's rhythm, not rush it. This worker steps under the press machine to adjust a part, not realizing it's still active. Without a clear signal or lockout system, he can't see the danger coming. Every machine should have a visual or audible alert, because awareness starts with design. Everything seemed normal at first. Workers followed the routine steps, and the machine worked as usual. But without proper maintenance, small mechanical issues can grow unnoticed. Delayed maintenance can cause sudden loss of control. Most malfunctions like this don't appear instantly. They build up over time. Regular inspection and preventive maintenance are what keep these systems stable and predict. The operator was found stuck after the press cycle ended. This indicates a failure in the machine's safety system, likely from missing interlocks or delayed maintenance. Such outcomes show why safety circuits and emergency stops must always remain functional and tested before each shift. The lifting unit continued moving because the operator couldn't see the worker standing in its path. In such areas, blind spots are common, especially around large coils and moving equipment. Safe zones and marked walkways must separate pedestrian routes from machine paths. Proximity sensors or automatic stop systems can detect motion where human vision fails. The best prevention is simple. Workers should never remain inside the machine's travel line. The worker entered the washing area while the system was still powered. The rotating brush started automatically and caught nearby objects, including the worker's clothing. This kind of incident happens when energy isolation is skipped before cleaning or inspection. Always disconnect and verify zero energy before entering any automated system. The worker was unaware that the cycle was still active. This shows how critical clear visual and sound indicators are in automated systems. When machines restart silently or without warning lights, workers lose awareness of active motion. Cycle status indicators and interlocked access doors prevent such misunderstandings. Before approaching any machine, always verify the cycle has fully stopped, not just paused. The operator reached behind the press while the cycle was still active. This kind of risk occurs when the cycle status isn't visible. A physical barrier or interlocked guard would have prevented access during movement. Clear lighting, warning signals, and cycle indicators remind operators that the system is still running. Prevention begins with design. The worker began an adjustment while the horizontal drill was still powered. Because the machine wasn't isolated, even a small loss of balance led to dangerous proximity with the moving parts. Rotating equipment must always be locked and tested for zero movement before any inspection. Platforms or fixed stands should be used instead of stepping directly on machinery. In rotating systems, energy isolation isn't a delay, it's the first step of safe work. The worker leaned into the press area to retrieve a part while the cycle was still active. This shows how easy it is to misjudge timing in automated systems. Physical barriers or light curtains should prevent access until the press has fully stopped. Cycle indicators and audible alarms help ensure the operator knows when motion is still active. No task inside the danger zone should ever depend on human timing, only on verified system isolation. The worker entered a narrow gap between upright slabs. Without proper supports, heavy materials can shift even from minor movement. Storage areas must use restraints and marked no entry zones to keep workers clear of collapse risks. The worker stepped inside the machine before the cycle had fully stopped. This risk appears when energy isolation isn't verified and the operator relies only on visual judgment. Interlocked doors and lockout systems prevent entry until motion is completely halted. Always confirm full stop. Two workers placed material under the press without confirming the cycle stop. Without proper synchronization or safety sensors, timing mistakes turn into serious hazards. Automatic detection and light barriers should always control entry, not human judgment. The worker stood on the loading platform while the truck reversed. Drivers can't see people directly behind or below the vehicle. Loading zones must stay clear until the vehicle stops, and sensors or spotters should confirm the area is safe. Here is another example of the same mistake. Never stand behind large cars. But thanks God he was lucky that he's saved without any harm. These skydivers were preparing to jump, but the upper plane collided with the aircraft below, causing a mid-air accident, emphasizing air traffic coordination during group flights. Every crew must maintain strict vertical and lateral separation zones. Air safety is not just about equipment. It's about rigid adherence to procedure and communication protocols. This worker tries to move a tall, heavy stack by pushing its base with her foot, causing it to suddenly tip and fall on her. The accident is due to an unstable, top-heavy load and incorrect moving technique. Always push heavy, unstable objects from their center of mass, not the bottom. Use proper handles and apply force horizontally to prevent tipping. A worker reaches into an active press machine during its cycle to retrieve material. This immediate intervention into an operating machine is a critical safety bypass. Never enter a machine's danger zone while operating. All maintenance or material retrieval must follow strict lockout-tagout procedures. This individual intentionally broke an elevator door with a scooter, causing a fatal fall into the shaft. The cause is extreme reckless vandalism against a safety barrier. Never tamper with critical infrastructure. Elevators are not toys. Respect all safety systems. The accident happens because his loose clothing gets caught by the active moving parts. This is a fatal reminder that machines must have guarding that prevents clothing or limbs from entering the danger zone. Proper fit, secured workwear, and machine guards are non-negotiable standards. This worker is felling a tree, but a misjudged cutting angle causes the tree to fall directly onto him. Always establish a clear escape route and control the cut direction with precision wedges and proper notches before felling any tree. Two workers carry a large metal frame and fail to maintain a safe distance from overhead power lines. The cause is a catastrophic lack of awareness of the mandated safety clearance for high voltage lines. Before transporting any tall or conductive material, always identify the location of power lines. Maintain a safety clearance of at least 10 feet, 3 meters at all times. A worker reaches into the machine after opening the cover and is struck and trapped by a part still in motion. The accident is due to bypassing the guard and failing to release all stored energy before intervention. Before opening any panel, the lockout-tagout procedure must confirm the release of all mechanical or hydraulic energy. Never rely on visual inspection alone. This worker enters the machine's confined space to make an adjustment while it is still active. This extreme rule violation results in immediate entrapment by moving components. Never enter machine internals. Lockout-tagout procedures are mandatory for all adjustments. Always stay outside the danger zone. While collecting paper blocks from the recycling line, his hand moves too close to the cutting area during operation. This highlights how routine tasks still require full attention and clear separation from active machines. The worker moves too close to the suspended structure before the lifting process is complete. While the load is still in motion, the support line fails and drops without warning. This is why keeping distance during active lifting operations is essential. Movement is never predictable, and awareness must come before speed. The person behind the forklift controls is likely not a trained operator, just someone asked to move the load for a moment. A single wrong pedal input changes the machine's direction, leaving the worker in front with no time to react. This is why only trained operators should control heavy equipment. Small mistakes with machines can turn routine tasks into irreversible outcomes. The worker stands directly beneath the suspended load during lifting. When the rope fails, there is no reaction time left. This is why standing under suspended loads is never acceptable. Keeping distance is the simplest and most critical safety rule. The worker's finger slips into the saw for a split second, but the safety shutoff system cuts the power immediately. This is why proper safety mechanisms matter. The right precautions don't just reduce damage, they prevent life-changing injuries. Thankfully, he is not injured. They step onto the machine, thinking it's completely stopped, but it suddenly starts again and pulls them in. This is why standing on machinery without lockout and confirmation is dangerous. Distance and proper shutdown procedures save lives. The crane is lifting heavy timber. The cable suddenly fails, and the worker standing below is trapped under the load. This is why never standing beneath suspended loads is critical. Keeping distance is not optional. She reaches for a glove on a moving conveyor. The machine doesn't stop, and her hand gets pulled in. This is why you never touch a machine that is still running. Stop it first. Distance and lockout save lives. While using the ladder, he loses his balance. There is no safety line, no fall protection, and no secondary support. He falls into a container holding hot industrial material below. Thanks to a quick reaction, he manages to get out on his own, but even a few seconds are enough to leave permanent burn marks. This is why ladder safety is never optional. Before climbing, equipment must be inspected, secured, and suitable for the job. And when working at height, safety lines and fall protection are not extra precautions. They are basic requirements. One step, one slip, One moment of imbalance can change everything. Distance, preparation, and awareness save lives. The machine pauses for a short cycle. Thinking it is safe, the worker reaches inside, but the system is still active. This is why machines must be fully stopped and locked out before any intervention. A brief pause does not mean the danger is gone. Distance, lockout procedures, and patience are what prevent irreversible mistakes.